day in drum corps land. This is your co-host Derek Young here, and I have Dylan Oxenrinder here as the podcast host, and we have the executive director over the Sunrises, David Hobart. Welcome to the Roundup podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's not a problem, man. I know I'm currently in your core as of right now, but I'm happy that you're along for the ride, and hope you have a good time with the podcast with me and Dylan here.
As of right now, and for quite some time, you will be a member of the Corps. Thank you very much.
So,
Yeah, David, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
all right. So, Dave, man, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience with Sunrisers.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I've been doing this crazy activity of drum corps since 1988.
Oh.
When were you guys born?
Unfortunately, I was in 1990. I wasn't even thought of yet.
I was born in 1994.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
So I started marching with the Rochester Patriots in '88. Went through '91 with that, and then ended up in the Troopers when you were born, Dylan, in 1994. After the Troopers, I did some time with the Empire Statesmen from Rochester, and
Good guys.
enjoyed that. So I went from being part of America's Corps to being part of America's Entertainers. So that was the tagline for both of those groups. And this is my marching experience. And then I ended up doing a little bit of some fun with the Troopers Legacy Corps in 2022. A little bit of the administrative side, it kind of just happened. I was working with the Empire Statesmen, in 98 through 2001 as their PR and marketing person under working with Bob Scott with them. Then I moved over to the Rochester Crusaders and was a public relations director and business manager there from 2003 through 2010. And then after a while, I jumped over to Drum Corps Associates as the public relations and marketing director from 2010 to 2013. And then the Sunrisers came up in 13. So I was made that transition from being part of the DCA crew and jumped over to work with the Sunrisers and started there in the I think it was September of 13, and then went as their business manager from 13 through 17, and then became the executive director in 2018, and that's where I'm at now.
Hey.
So yeah, it's it's been a long drum corps ride, I guess you could say, and I never imagined that I would be a director of a drum corps. I mean, we always looked out there at those guys at the front sideline and just said, those guys are the guys in charge of what we do, and I didn't have a thing to worry about, and they took care of all the business, and I was very lucky to be trained and taught by Vince Bruni. He was one of the best guys out there on the business of drum corps, and he and Bob Scott were involved with that corps and bringing me up to my admin capabilities, I guess you could say. So today, what I do is, I continue to work with what they taught me, and then of course expand it and make it my own. So that's kind of how things pulled me into Sun.
Oh man, your rap sheet is longer than my doggone resume at this point. You made a lot of accomplishments, man. That's really good.
I don't really want to call it a rap sheet, but we'll call it my drum corps history. How's that sound?
Your history, yeah, there you go, man. So
that's quite an impressive history. That's really great.
Yeah, and I just took time to actually bring it out of my brain and onto a document, because I never thought about the history and what I've done, and been around in drum corps. So and I guess when I hit the age of 50, then I said, I wonder what have I done? What have I done here? And then I've done a couple things, but I'm also still involved with, while I'm doing all this stuff, still involved with um, the troopers on a couple different levels. I'm with their Saber Circle, which is their alumni committee, and then the also involved with the Hall of Fame committee there, and I'm also on the board of advisors of the Troopers Legacy Corps. So I keep my connection in there because they really gave a lot to me as a kid growing up.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's good to have all that experience and knowing a lot of people that can help you through your dreams. For what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
great.
but so, what excited you for DCI All Age?
What excited me for our involvement?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, when we first, when this was first considered, my thought was, why not do it as a hybrid so that we can figure out if DCA and DCI would work. And what was decided is that we're going to have to jump in both feet. And I'm glad that was the decision that was made by all the corps, because I'll tell you what, the support that we receive from DCI is pretty big. I mean, we especially, it's more formalized with the policies, the procedures to protect ourselves, the members of the corps, and it also the marketing machine is out there. It's huge. It gives us more visibility across more people. And DCA was having some financial issues. I mean, we were losing our crowds, we were dwindling, ticket sales were low. So combining forces made sense for sure. So that was very exciting. Once we got into the season, it was great.
Yeah, I know. I know. Me and Jason Rose was talking about that. I want to say around 2016, he was he would made it as a joke jester. He was like, it'd be really good if DCA just became DCI right about now. I was like, why would you even say that, man? We gotta have like the all age DCA associates and stuff like that. He said, yeah, but it's just not what it used to be, because he was with I think Hawthorne alumni at the time, and when I was with Bio City Blues, he was telling me like how things is just like not it's not the way it is. Crowd wasn't as big as it used to. I was like, well, I was young at the time, and I was like, I mean, it's okay, but after seeing the history behind DCA and how everything came about and how y'all came up, and I was like, wow, this was just as big as DCI was. So I was like, so I wonder what happened. But as the years went by and the word got out that DCA was now combining with DCI, I was like, this is going to bring the exposure to these cores. And this is the whole purpose of what this podcast is. We want to bring more exposure to the all age group. I mean, they do have exposures, and some of them knows the Bucks, Caps, whatever. But we would like to bring more exposure to like open and A class as well, because they work just as hard as the world class do. And me personally, I feel like building that up, building those cores up is a lot rewarding, more rewarding in my case. So with Sunrisers being an open class, and we'll get up to world as well. It's like a great feeling, and I can't wait for it, especially with this show. We finally released it, guys. Finally got the show reveal out there. I know Dylan was anxious. He's like, I need to know what is y'all show. I was like, just hold on, give it a sec. I was like, David's gonna
Yeah,
put
I've
it
been
out there.
bugging a little bit. I've been bugging, but I think, like you said, David, when it comes to the marketing tool, the DCI, they had a huge write up about your 2025 show, and just really like they're there to help make sure the all age doesn't fold, and that's important to me. Like last year, 2024 was my first year being able to go see an all age show here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So that was my first really exposure to live drum corps, and I was just completely blown away at the shows and how it all integrated this year with DCI, and it's been really remarkable to see.
Well, I think that thinking about the DCI and all age cores, I think that it works on both sides, right? I mean, DCI is supportive to the all age cores, but the all age cores do come with a fan base. They do come with a customer. I call it customer membership, right? So they do have this built-in mechanism as to where we're moving our assets over to them. Assets being membership, any fans that we have. We have our history and such. And that helps them. I mean, if you look at things like demographics and you're looking at grants, you're looking at corporate sponsorships, you're adding in the all age mix into all that formula now, right? So they're able to sell that to corporate sponsors and into new fan bases and just different things. So it's not DCI saving the all age per se. It's us it's working together, offering what we can offer, and then they're also offering what they can offer, and it's a really good family now of all age and the rest of the cores. So that mixed in with the sound sport thing that's happening now as well. That's very big and also provides more in terms of that base that we talked about. Here is the base of drum corps people, right? And then they're connected with these people, and then it builds the activity of drum corps in a bigger way. It kind of pulls it all together. So I think it's a great thing that we're working together.
All right, that's great. So what do you think the plan is for DCI All Age in the next 2 years, like after this year, considering that we're slowly evolving, and now that we got a prelims and a finals now?
Mm-hmm.
I say, what do you think? How you think it's going to evolve more in the next coming years? What do you think?
How do I see it evolving? I think that we'll see more sound sport groups looking to become all age groups.
I was telling you that, Dylan.
I think that's that's
It's
my
gonna
hope.
happen.
I mean, and if you're looking at the three classes that the Class A, the Open Class, and then the World Class, I was a very big proponent of making sure that we kept those three classes so that each unit could compete within their realm, like within their own group. For us, it was a great stepping stone. We were, I think we were like 48 members last year. So how could 48 members compete with 85 members? And why not compete within our zone? I mean, it was great with the competing against the Skyliners and the Governaires and which are two very good groups. I mean, it was great being their competitor. So we were going back and forth with each other, like, hey, we're going to get you. So we motivated each other that way, right? And Emily Moe and I had some very interesting conversations because we're comparing scores with each other. We're just going back and forth, having a fun rival thing between each other as directors. So that was awesome. But I think that for the Sunrisers, it created a stepping stone. So more than a stepping stone, I think it created a springboard. I mean, just looking at our drum corps right now, the front ensemble and the battery are about 3 less members than the entire drum corps that we had last year. So,
Oh my gosh!
so I attribute that
Wow.
to one, the members had a good experience here at Sutton. Two, being involved with DCI, performing in Indy, that travel, the whole experience, and again the machine of DCI offering some nice exposure to our membership, and competing with in shows with world class drum corps and open class and having that mix that exposed our membership to a vast kind of experience rather than just that Class A experience or Class A and open or just all age. So So I think that what's happened is that they've come back home and talked with their friends. Now, another thing that's built us on Long Island is when we came back last year. I had some staff from previous years or members that came back, and they wanted to create the culture and bring back that Long Island culture and the Sunriser culture. So, I'll tell you that really started last year with our percussion guys. Zay Wilson and Sean Bailey and Sudwip and the guys came to me and they said, we really want to do this. Let's do it. Let's go. So when they came to me, I said, okay, you guys want to do this? Let's do it. Like, let's do it for real. And so what we did is we started there and then we built it out. And what our staff looked like last year was a good percentage of people that marched with the Sunrisers in the past and that are music educators now here on Long Island. And then we brought in some people from outside of the island, but it was a majority of Long Island educators. And we came together and we said, we're going to use the Sunrisers as a way to build the marching arts across Long Island. So that means that people come here and learn from all our educators from Long Island and beyond, and then take that education that they get from here and take it back to their bands. So we've created a very good partnership with the Long Island band programs. So that's how we built last year. So we built that. We got out there. We did a nice program. We were very traditional. We put on our good old colors, the orange and blue, and we did a great job. So we're using that great year to springboard into, okay, we're here and we're pushing hard, and we are going into this competitive thing hard this season with that new modern twist of a show and some different costuming and just a whole bunch of crazy going on with that show. I mean, Derek is going to be running around that football field like he's, I don't know, 17 again.
Oh, dear God,
but
help me.
it's a modern show, and it's all about movement, with some nice splashes of color in there. I think, and that the show is going to, it's going to captivate our membership even more than what last year did, because there's so much happening. Very percussive, very exciting. A lot of sound, a lot of movement, because it's the move show. We have choreographers involved. Just very different than last year, but still has that Sunriser excitement to it.
So, Dave, how big are you on teaching history to the younger generation of, I guess you could say, the drum corps community, those who join Sunrisers?
How are we teaching them that? Well, first you're teaching them to show up on time, do the thing. When we really get into that history, we've done a little bit of it, right, Jarek, with when at the end of the rehearsal, we end it with our traditional battle hymn from time to time, just to show like a milestone has been achieved in different areas. But the history will come in the summer. We'll have some alumni stop by to kind of talk about their time with the Corps. I mean, the Corps has had many ups and downs. I mean, but the ups are the great times. There's been six Open championships here and one Class A championship. So there's been 7 World Championships in the Sunrisers. And since they've been going since 1950 as a parade group in Nassau County, and then it turned in, and that was also a junior corps back then when they were part of that, and then it turned into a senior corps in 1953 and competed the first time in 1954. So we still have people, around the corps that that have that history and they love to talk about it. There's Frank Simpson, who's always around the Corps. He loves
Yeah.
talking about the history of the drum corps. And, you can always hit up Larry Visconti, who's been here since 1972. And he has never left the drum corps. He's always been here. He's always helping. He's held many different roles from, business manager to executive director to a trumpet player when they needed it. So there's a lot of stories to tell, and those stories will come out as the season progresses. We'll probably have a session where we have alumni come in and talk with you guys.
Yeah, like with me, I guess it's just me in general. I don't know like other people, but anytime I join an organization, I always like to look at the roots of like how they started.
Mm-hmm.
What built them up to what they are now to this day. Like even when I was at you and Sharon's place, and Sharon was giving me all the information, like showing me
No.
like some of the videos. I was like, dude, I love stuff like this. Some people call me old at heart, but I was like, no, I like this kind of stuff. It gets
Mm-hmm.
you deeply invested into the core or the group that you are with. So
Yeah. So people that don't know Sharon, it's Sharon Rose. She's our board president, and her father was one of the first directors of the drum corps back in the '60s or '50s, actually.
Okay.
Uh,
Very
so
cool.
so she came back to the corps in 2014. When I was here, she came uh, to a send off before we went to finals, and then and I remember she wrote a check and handed it to me for the corps for $100, and she goes, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, oh, "Not really. Tell me who you are." And then she gave me the history. And then I think the following year, I called her up and I said, "I want you to help me book some parades." And then she started cooking the food, and she's been preparing the food since 2014 for the
Oh,
drum
wow.
corps, and she donates her time and money to do it, and she loves the corps. So that's Sharon is one of the major reasons why I'm still doing this. It's because I see her passion. I see other people's passion in this drum corps, so it ignites my fire to keep doing it. Um, yeah, she's so there's some history there. Sharon Rose, board president. Her father was one of the first directors, and if her father could see what she does today, he'd be in shock for
Mm,
sure.
yeah,
that's pretty incredible.
when
Oops.
first talking with Sharon, man, I was nervous at first because I was like, man, I don't know who this lady is. She's like, oh, come on, no, no, you better eat here, and I'm old school. I do all this stuff, and after finally like spending the night with me and Jackson came over and get to know her a lot more, and I was like, oh man, I love this. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah, there's your history lesson. You got that. You probably broke out the CDs from the '60s and put them in the CD player to make it listen, right?
I think yeah, she did that, and then she gave me a Jackson stickers, and then next thing you know, she just started pulling up a bunch of YouTube videos. He said, yeah, so see, this is when my father born. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I forgot what I was about to ask you. Oh, so what do you think of the lineup for open class, Dave? With the
In
new
terms
with the new members coming in, the new guys coming in.
the new drum corps.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great. I think it's good competition. Northern Lights is a very good group. I've seen what they've done in sound sport.
Hmm.
Minnesota Brass is historic
Yeah,
group,
yeah. I'm about to say.
very very good.
Mhm.
I think that with these new cores, it's going to keep all of us on our toes. It's to kind of do our best, and I think it's awesome because I know these people, from these other cores, and they've worked hard. So it's not easy to build a drum corps up. So what they've gone through and their efforts. So it's paying off, which makes me very happy.
Yeah, I feel like since now that DCA is, being not, I guess not being helped out, but combining with DCI, I think a lot of sound sports are going to try to push to try to come to All H, which I would like to see more, to be honest with you, because I would like for DCI All H to build up, be big again as usual. Because I know, like going back, looking at DC, I think it's called DCX Museum or whatever it's called, Drum Corps
Mhm.
Museum.
Hmm.
And I say, man, there is a lot of corps that used to be in DCA, especially in Texas where I'm from. Like we used to have a lot, like Gulf Coast Sound. Then we had, I think
Mhm.
it was like Forte or something. I can't remember the other ones from Dallas. We had a couple of them. We also had who was the other guys from California? Renegades, I think.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I say, I would love to see some of these guys to come back, or more, or new
Yeah.
faces, new guys to come in to build up the competition in the all age community.
But drum corps is much different than it was than back when those corps that you're talking about
Yeah,
were performing. I mean, just the uh, budget lines are something that are totally different.
yeah. Don't get me started. When I was with Gulf Coast Sound, it was way cheaper.
Well,
Hmm.
she, but when I say that, I mean you look, and I don't know how many of your viewers or listeners are going to be interested in budget of drum corps, but you look at one bus here on Long Island taking a trip over to say, Shelton or Seymour, Connecticut, where we do our first show. Uh, Cost per bus is about $2,700 per bus. So, and we'll be traveling with two buses this year. So that's nearly $6,000 to move buses to one show. And then you have the core trucks, which is fuel and maintenance and everything like that, and insurances. So the expense of moving down the road is something that's kind of spectacular. I mean, it's that's why we're always looking now for corporate sponsors, and we're doing major fundraising events, not just like little cookie sales. I mean, you have to do major things to keep your drum corps going. The cost as a member to be in our corps is $1,800. The cost per member for the corps is $3,800. So the drum corps has to find the 2,000 extra bucks to get the membership down the road, and we do everything that we can to make sure our members can afford to do what we do. But and then you think about the travel and like out to Indy, it's quite expensive, but we try and trying to budget for all of that, and that's my job as an executive director is to make sure that all that comes together.
Yeah,
That's why I was able to find somebody who was great, who's I've been working with since August. It's Scott Cottrell to be my business or my no, not my business manager, my assistant. Scott's been handling a lot of things with me, so we partnered up and we're working hard together to create different revenue streams that we'll be announcing at some point, which over the next couple of days. But it's going to be a one or two revenue streams that are going to help us and help bands and across Long
Oh,
Island and
good.
beyond. So
Okay.
it's something that I'll be announcing soon. I can't really get into it
I
now.
can
Hmm.
I can't wait, man. I know Scott be like, I want to tell you, man, but you just gotta hold on, man. I was like, hey, man, look, man, whatever Sunrisers do, man, I'm gonna back them up 100%,
Rick, when will this be hitting the ears of people?
man. The stream,
Yeah.
probably by the end of tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Then I'll wait.
Oh, oh, you
Mm,
gonna leave
You
us?
we can hold off until you wanna. We just tell us a date. We can hold off.
well, let's see.
Yeah, I say let me know, man, because I'll just edit it and I can just wait, just wait to upload
Yeah.
this.
Okay, why don't you wait and all right, we'll go offline after. I'll tell you when a good date would be to release. If that's good.
Oh, okay, that ain't a
Okay.
problem with me, man.
All right, so make sure you're mixing up this chit chat and,
I
and
got you.
editing. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, I got you. But
all right. So all right, now I'm gonna go into it. Yeah, so with Scott, we've been working on since August, September on building a revenue stream that's going to support the organization, and it's very similar. It's been done before with the Blue Devils and Carolina Crown and in Boston, but I think that we're we're building it to be something that we continue and we push. But it's what we're doing is we have our endorsements with several companies, but now we're also building a distribution arm to the drum corps, to the organization under our parent umbrella, the Metropolitan Arts and Education Group. So we're partnering with Zildjian. We're working a deal with, we're pending deal with Pearl. We've reached out to Yamaha, Innovative Percussion's on board, Diodario, Evans Heads, they're on board with us. There's a few other vendors that I just can't say yet until we have that information solidified. But essentially, what we're doing is we're offering to Long Island and beyond the music educators access to those products at a reduced cost. Right? It's going to be marked below MAP pricing.
Yeah.
So each of those band directors say there's a marching band here on Long Island that requires or needs some equipment, say Zildjian cymbals. So we'll work a deal with them, to hopefully knock out any competitors' pricing and still make a bit of a profit for the Sunrisers, right? So we're going to try to maximize the low cost on the for the bands to be able to purchase new product through us, and then Sunrisers Metro Arts will benefit from that, not a brick and mortar store.
Okay.
Essentially, it returns a net to the organization rather than to somebody's pockets. If you get what I'm saying. So it's again building the marching arts across Long Island. We'll support them, they support us, and they need equipment. We'll be here to get them equipment, at a nice cost rather than brick and mortar cost, and even below the school percentage that they usually get off from our competitors. So I'm excited to get the business going. We'll be going to Tournament Indoor Association the first week in May, participating down there, meeting band directors, and we're actually sponsoring the percussion showcase and the jazz competition that I guess it ends with the Marine Jazz Band performing as well. So we're not only building the drum corps, but we're building the business of the drum corps so that we can sustain the organization. You have to think outside of the box a little bit.
So for Sunrisers, especially for you, is there any future plans on having, like, say for instance, an indoor line, umbrelling, being under Sunrisers?
We're talking about it. We're talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think, at first I was looking. We were looking at maybe an indoor color guard, but color guard here. But color guard here on Long Island is pretty big, so each of the schools already have major programs. In terms of a indoor percussion program, there's not. I don't believe that there's any competitive percussion programs here on Long Island. So we're taking a very solid look at that. The major obstacle is rehearsal space. So we need to make sure we find, the rehearsal spot before we can push anything else. I mean, equipment and things like that, we're fine. But we also need to do better in that area. I mean, the Corps has equipment, but if we go into a indoor thing, that indoor group would need to build their own things up as well. So I think the next thing you might see out of the Sunrisers is an indoor ensemble. I'm just not sure if that's going to be next year or year after. We're planning to.
Okay.
Patience is a virtue, man, and
you got to build it slowly. Build it slowly, and the main project is the drum corps, the Sunrisers. We need to
Yeah.
make sure that that program is very much solid and moving in the right direction. But the other stuff is on a back burner, getting turned up a little bit. It's on low right now. We haven't turned it up to a high yet, but it's in the thought process.
What is your guesstimation on Sunrises being in world class? Like, what? How many years do you think it would take?
Well, it depends. I mean, right now, with our numbers, um, let me take a look here. The numbers, depending on what our brass comes up with, we could. We're going to be at the high end of open class this year in terms of numbers, and then uh, I think we're looking at possibly 93 or 94 this year in the drum corps.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's and it kind of makes me nervous, right? Because if you're looking at it in a good way, nervous in a good way, because right now you need 40 to compete in Class A,
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
and then between 40 and 60, so that's 40 and 60. That's Class A. Um, Open class is 61 to 85, and then 86 to 128 is the world class. So we're not sure where we're going to be yet um, in terms of class. We won't know until May, and that's when we'll have to let DCI know.
Boy.
But I mean, it's all up to our membership, right? If they show up, they show up. But we are comfortably going to be in open class this year.
Oh man, open
Uh,
class about to be a
That
dog.
is quite a huge growth from last year to this year. That's incredible.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
just, it's great.
yeah. It's
It's,
it's exciting. It is exciting, and it's nice to see, um, the return of so many people, and then all the new folks coming through the door. It's been good. So, I mean, if we have everybody who's on our books shows up, then we'll have a very good year.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
good.
Because I can't wait for the dog fight on Saturday. That's gonna be great.
Oh, this is going to
Everybody's
be
going at it.
crazy. Even Friday. Friday's going to be the
Yeah.
top 12 and seeing what gets into the top 12 on Saturday. That's going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I like our new format of being in your class on Friday, and then the all in on Saturday. I think that was a great compromise and a great thing for the entire all age division.
Yeah, me personally. Yeah, me personally. When they said that, I was like, we should have been did that like last year. But I was like, you know what? We're still. This is new. We're still growing. So I'm thinking we're trying to
Well,
get our
when you
own
say
way.
ended, I mean we've always in all age have always had the three classes. So doing what we're doing is new to us, right? And I still wanted to see somebody crowned, in each of their classes because you're competing, like I said, within your reach, right?
Yeah.
So if we were still in Class A, I would love to still fight out the Governors and try to beat them right in Class A this
Yeah.
year and be crowned that Class A core. Um, but so I think that it gives an opportunity for drum corps to let their communities know that within our class we placed here, one through whatever, and it does two things. One is that it allows for people to realize that within your area of drum corps, within your numbers, within your means, you placed at this spot, right? Um, yeah, sure, we're all in at the end. Um, so anything goes there. It could
Yeah,
be
man.
anything. So a Class A core could beat an open class core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about that? I mean, that's pretty neat. Um,
Hey, man. Oh, I see. I just seen the tour schedule. So we're having a mini tour from the 4th to the 7th.
That's still being worked out. We are the thing that you don't see on the schedule yet, and I have to talk with the members about and tell them is that we're ending our season with an 8-day tour. So
Oh yeah.
we are, yeah. So we are going from we're going up to Williamsport, and then we're going to Downingtown, and then so that's Saturday and Sunday, and then we're heading up to Erie, Pennsylvania. We're doing the Erie show, so that's going to be on Monday, and then we're working out some things, in terms of housing and such. On those days, the next couple days, so like the Tuesday, Wednesday, and then head to Indy Thursday. Be in Indy on Thursday, then move into our prelims per se on Friday, and then Saturday finals, and head back home Sunday. So yeah, we've decided that we're going to be touring for a week, similar to a lot of our open class cores and world class cores, and so you get that experience. I know that the Hurricanes are doing the same thing. I know Bushwhackers are doing the same thing. So we're kind of all in the same thought process. And believe it or not, buses don't cost too much more if you do it that way than coming back home and then reloading 2 days later after your Sunday competition. So we spend a couple extra $1,000 and we give a major process for our members and experience that they can enjoy. The end of the season with us. It's going to be great for bonding and everything. So we're excited about it. We'll be pushing that out as well, Tariq, soon.
Oh man, I can't.
That's
Yeah, I can't
cool.
wait.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I mean, it's going to be a new experience. I mean, we've done mini tours before, so we know what we're doing. We know what we have to do in terms of housing and food and all that stuff, and taking care of our members, making sure they get sleep and etc. But I just think that just that last big push and getting better those last few days before going into finals is going to be a great thing for us.
All right, all right, all right. Well, I pretty much asked most of the questions I had in mind. You got anything for me, Dylan, before we kind of cut this off?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I've been really thinking about. I really want to start getting to ask all of our guests. What is one of the biggest things you guys need for this upcoming season?
Biggest thing?
Yes.
Money.
Money. Okay.
Money. Well, money is always a thing, right? So we're trying to find ways of raising money, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But we always need volunteers. Always could use volunteers. Anybody who wants to travel with the Corps through the summer, it'd be great. We're looking for videographers, people that can help us with that. The volunteer thing would be great because there are, about 7 or 8 people that do most of the work in terms of volunteers with the uniforms and the food and everything else. So anybody that's looking to volunteer, looking to spend a few days with us, that would be great. It's if it's 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, but whatever they want to do, we'd be happy to have them. We'll be looking for truck drivers as well. So it's, but yeah, I mean, it's. I know I threw money out there, but if we don't have our volunteers and staff and things that we have, we'd have nothing. So it's very important that we have our volunteers. We have a great base right now, and we're always looking to add.
Yeah.
Are you guys in need of any people for the week of finals, like extra help out for that last push?
It seems that when we head out to finals, everybody wants to help, right? But we really need to front load it too. So at the beginning of the season, and it would be great. It would be great to have people help us all along the way, and of course, we'll look for a few for finals. That finals push. I'd love to have some people help us with moving equipment and so on. But a lot of times you get those offers, a couple weeks ahead of time, and you really don't know those people, and you have to get them onboarded and background checked and everything else. So if anybody wants to help us, we'd love to have them help, but let us know sooner rather than later. We'll put a survey out there socially to see if we can get some signups for that. But yeah, always looking for help. Always looking for help at finals, but let's make sure we know those people before they come with us.
Yeah. Don't want no mishaps or anything on the inside. Good Lord.
No, there won't be. No. But does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So, anything else for him, Dylan?
I think that's all my questions. I just want to thank you, David, for coming on, and I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see where this organization goes this summer, and I'm really excited for it.
Cool. Well, glad to be on. Glad to talk. I can talk about the Sunrisers for hours. So it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you guys taking time.
It's not a problem, man. If y'all boys and girls out there at the Drum Corps World love what you see, man, please hit the subscribe button, like, and share it with your friends and family. We're here to bring some exposure to the all-age scene, and this is mainly an all-age podcast. So thanks for tuning in. And thank you, Dave, for joining us today with me and Dylan.
You're welcome. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much, guys.
The Sunrisers from the town of Orangetown, New York,